Hey dudes, welcome to Splat from the Past, the only 80s themed horror and sci-fi show where things can get totally radical. Now, I am just fucking astounded and excited for today's episode. I'm going to be interviewing a comedy hero of mine from the Bay Area, probably the best comedian you have never heard of. His name is Stephen Pearl, and he is a guy who's had quite an amazing life in the world of stand-up comedy, starting in New York, then the Holy City Zoo in San Francisco, and then being a regular at the Comedy Store, hanging out with Sam Kinison and all the crazy darkness that was going down at that time, you know. And he's also a huge expert on blues rock music, and he was a good friend of Johnny Winter, used to open for him and everything. And I'm going to ask him about all that stuff today. I'm just fucking astounded because, to me, he is the funniest man of all time. He's got this really unique improvisation riff style, kind of like Robin Williams had, where he's just manic and crazy, goes from one character to the next, one premise to the next. He was on a lot of shows like An Evening at the Improv and Caroline's Comedy Hour back in the day, and he is just fucking great, and he's going to be calling me in just a moment. So, yeah, here's my interview with Stephen Pearl, and it's going to be just fucking hilarious. Just hold on to your hankies because it's going to be fucking hilarious. I just know it. Hey, Steve, welcome to the show.
Hello, Muddy the K. This is John Lennon of the Beatles, and I just want to say whenever George, Paul, Ringo, and I are in New York, we listen to 77 WABC. Hey, what's going on? How's everything in Reading by the Sea?
That was good. Oh. How are you today?
Good, hot, man. Damn, I got a big fan on here, so I saw two trees fighting over a dog before. It's hot here. I tell you, I was sweating like Lindsay Lohan at a sobriety checkpoint, but I gotta tell you. Yeah, I was sweating like Bill Cosby on the witness stand, ladies and gentlemen. Hey, it's a hot day, boy. Damn, Bob Hope, I'm 149 years old, my pancreas just fell out. Ain't that something? A laugher, I like that. I could have used you when I was in Reading last year.
Oh, fuck, I tried to come see you up here in Reading last year, but I wasn't able to make it.
No, I wish you made it. They were staring at me like I was the only Jew they ever saw, and I think I was. Damn, looks like you left his horns at home.
Oh, my God.
It was fun. Nice people there.
Yeah. It's such an honor because I think you're the funniest comic of all time, literally.
God bless you. You want to be my manager?
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
My pleasure. You know, I grew up watching you on An Evening at the Improv and Caroline's Comedy Hour, and
oh yeah, back when I thought I had a future.
Yeah.
And oh, look at me now, boy. Once upon a time, I was a star in 3 area codes. Oh, then they changed the area code to Fremont, and I was finished. Big fun today.
Shit, when I started doing comedy in San Francisco in 2006, I was like, where the fuck is Steve Pearl? We need him out here, you know?
What year did he start doing it?
2006.
Oh, God, that's way after I did it. I was, 2006, I was in L.A. looking for a beam to hang myself from. I was finished by 2006.
Well,
well, actually, you got to be doing it 12 years, so you're not so new anymore. Damn, time goes by quick.
Oh, I feel like I'm new because I can't get fucking booked anywhere because I don't have enough TV or movie credits.
Neither do I. Don't worry about it.
Yeah. But
I was like the A&E horror of all time back in the day. I did like the improv and comedy on the road, Caroline's and all this and all that. And and they stopped doing those. Every show I've been on is extinct now.
Yeah.
I'm the dodo bird of televised comedy.
So yeah, did you always know that you were funny growing up?
Yeah, well, when I was a little kid, when I was a little bitty baby, I was always attracted to humor and music, whether together or separately. And I would draw it, too. I used to draw comic books, comic strips and stuff like that. So I was always attracted to humor and music. And I was always a wise guy in school. And I figured I would either be a comic or a politician since I knew how to lie real good. But I was funny at it, so that fancy and funny at it, they don't hate you. You can just get on stage. So
right.
I just eventually did. But yeah, I was always, I'd always watch Carson and the Ed Sullivan Show for the comedians. When I was a little kid, I remember seeing the Ed Sullivan Show with a group of mop tops called the Beatles on them, and I was watching for the comedians. I wasn't watching for them. I was watching for Frank Gorsman and Myron Cohen and those guys.
Yeah. Were you? So those were your favorite comedians. Was there any specific influences you had in those days?
Well, baby, that's before I ever did it, so there's no influence. I remember Frank Gorsman was my first favorite comedian I can remember, because I saw him as the Riddler on Batman when I was about 10 or 11 or whatever, and I see him on Ed Sullivan, and he'd do impressions, and he was amazing at it, and he followed the Beatles and killed, so, okay, this guy's a heavyweight, man. So I love Frank Gorsman. I love the impressions. David Fry came along later. He was the first guy who was doing political impressions. I thought he was amazing. And just about anybody was funny. I love Jonathan Winters. I love Dangerfield, blew me away. I loved him.
Yeah.
Influences, I don't know, maybe everybody. There were just so many people I liked when I was coming up. You had Robert Klein, you had Richard Pryor, you had George Carlin, you had Eddie Murphy was later, but you had so many great people. And then the people of my generation, you got your Rich Seidner, you got your Bruce Baum, you got your Denny Johnsons, and you got your Felicia Michaels, and you have your Carrie Snows, and so many great people coming up when I was, new at it. And I don't know if I was influenced, but I was definitely encouraged and excited to be working with these people. It made me want to do it even more and find my own voice, whatever that is.
Yeah, certainly. It's just you guys have all had such a profound impact on the culture of stand-up comedy, and that's why we got so many good guys today. That came after you guys.
Yeah, there's a couple of generation. I don't know what's going on today. I hear a couple of names, but on the internet and on YouTube and stuff. But I don't know who's doing what anymore. I'm so out of the loop. I just I go on locally. I really haven't traveled in a while, and I do my little show and tell presentation, and I don't know what's going on now. I see my old friends doing it, and we do it together. And my God, there's people doing it who were born in the '90s. There's people doing it who hear about Sam Kinison like I heard about James Dean. That doesn't make me feel old. So I worked with a kid not long ago who was a big Kinison fan. You worked on? Yeah, man, I was born in '93. A year after he died. Whoa, man. It's scary. Get my walker and my cane, get my true book, and I'm ready to retire.
Yeah, my influences were Kinison, Bobcat Goldthwait, Andrew Dice Clay, Richard Jeni. God, so many. Wendy Liebman.
Jenny was amazing. Jenny was kick-ass, man.
Oh, God. That guy, he could do 4 shows in one night and never the same material.
I know. He scared the hell. He was like one of those guys I didn't want to follow. Him and George Wallace, I'd be afraid to follow. I'll follow anybody, man. But it was Jenny was just, I did a Caroline comedy hour. He was the host. He was a really nice guy. I didn't know about his problems or anything. But he was just a great guy. And I told him to at the Improv a couple times when I'd see him there. But yeah, Jenny as a comic was just so fucking badass, man. Pardon my language.
Oh, no.
Pardon my language, virgins.
You can swear all you want, Steve.
Those cock-sucking motherfucker, I'll kill you. Motherfucker, you touch my sister again, I'll break your fucking intestines. I'll jump over you, cocksucker. Oh, wait, is this 164-3720? Never mind. Sorry to bother you. Okay, now that that's out of the way, woo, that was like taking a good bowel movement.
You sounded like Dom Irera right now.
I love Dom. Dom's kick-ass, man. He's another one, yeah. I don't get to mention all the names, but he's another one I'd watch when I moved to L.A. And I saw him working out with Robin on stage at the Improv. Oh, this guy's a badass, too. Okay, and Dom's a real nice guy. And, I met all these guys. It was amazing. My first week at the Comedy Store, after Missy hired me, she made me follow Richard Pryor 3 times the same week.
Oh, wow.
So I go, man, I'm in the school now, Jack. So, and before he got sick, too. So, I've worked, I've watched, and then I watched all these amazing people growing up, and then I'm working with them later on. I go, oh, this is a good job.
Yeah. Yeah, oh my God. What year did you first go up on stage for the first time, and where at?
May of 1977, back when Son of Sam was still sorting mail at the post office and punching holes in his wall, and Elvis had a couple of months to go. I went to the School of Visual Arts. I wanted to be a cartoonist, and they had a talent show at the end of the year right before I graduated. And I was always funny, but I'd never been on stage. I had stage fright, but I figured, I'm going to do this. I'm going to go on stage. All my friends were there. You got to go on stage. You got to go on stage. So I went on, and there was a big garbage can there filled with ice and cold beer. So I partook. So I had some liquid courage in me. So I went on. They introduced me, and I did like just goofy little commercial parodies what was going on at the time. And I destroyed. I was getting applause breaks and huge rounds of applause. And, oh, this is so fucking cool, man. This is what I want to do. This is the way. Drawing is fun, but yeah, this is really where it's at. So I just started hitting the clubs in New York after that. And the second gig I did, I bombed. I did the same thing. I was on at the comic strip, and I didn't know there was a line, so I ended up going on at like 3:30 in the morning. And the people that were left just stared at me and go, oh, this isn't as easy as I thought it would be. But I knew I could kill because I killed before, so I just started, waiting online, going on at the amateur nights at the Improv in New York, and I was still living in New York then, and the Catch a Rising Star on Monday nights, the Improv on Sunday nights. And I had some really good sets, even though, I was new at it, and they just encouraged me. And I finally moved to San Francisco in late 79. I came here in early 79 for a few months, check it out. And then I've been here before, and I wanted to live here. I just fell in love with the place on a visit I had in 1976 when I was 20. And I finally moved out here, and they had the Holy City Zoo, and they had the Punchline, and they had the Other Cafe, and they had the Comedy Wave was really, really starting. And I was, working out at the zoo every night, getting better and better and better. And then Alex Bennett came along and had a morning show and plugged the hell out of us. And lucky for me, I was one of his favorites. So, shit just happened, layer by layer. I just became a really good comic and started working a lot and became a star in three-area food.
Nice. And at that time in New York, that was when like Seinfeld was there and like Yakov Smirnoff and Barry Diamond, right?
Well, I worked with Seinfeld up here in '81 before anyone knew who he was. There were like 12 people in the audience. That was fun. And he wanted me to look for girls after the show with him, but I already had a girlfriend at the time. So I said, "I'm sorry. See you later, Jerry. You're on your own." And that's why he never picked me to be Kramer, that son of a bitch. But what was I talking about? I met Seinfeld up here. I met a lot of them up here. I was in San Francisco till '87. I worked with Sam Kinison a couple of times up here, and he was coming up. And I was a headliner when I heard about this guy, and I went, let me middle or, whatever, MC. I want to work with this guy. We got along great. He brought Carl LeBeau up here once, and then he spent more than he made partying, so they had to bring him back up like an indentured servant to pay off his debt. So I think he made like $3,000 and spent $5,000 and owed some money, so they had to bring him back. So I worked with him both times, and he said, "Come to LA, man. I'll get you out of the Comedy Store." I said, "Cool." So in December of '86, I make it down to LA, and I get on at the Comedy Store. And Mitzi, who would never watch the auditioners, Sam cornered her in her chair and then just wouldn't let her. You gotta watch this guy. Watch this guy. I'll burn this place to the ground. So I had a kick-ass set. I like my whole 3 minutes was a kick-ass set. And I met her. She, you're the guy Robin Williams has been doing his material. I want you to be a paid regular. I go, well, that's fine with me. So I owe Sam for that one. And but I came back up here in San Francisco because I had so much work till about June. So I stayed down there in December of '86 and worked the Comedy Store and got my name known and worked other places that the Comedy Store booked. And then I came up here again to do the work, and then I saved my money, and then I gave up the apartment on June 24th, 1987. I drove to LA and lived there for 22 years.
Wow. And so, but going back though, when you were in San Francisco in the early years, you were so the Holy City Zoo was that your first stage time there?
Yeah. I went on when I was here in early 79. I went. When I was in New York, there was no internet or anything, and I want to find the club in San Francisco, so I went to an out-of-town newsstand. I got the San Francisco Chronicle, and I was, Holy City Zoo, club's here. So I went to the Holy City Zoo, and I just watched. And it was the place was packed. It was just this little urine-smelling cabin. You felt the roof was going to cave in on any second, and the roaches were going to crawl all over you. But it had amazing energy, and it was packed, which was really like 60 people, and everyone except one guy killed. So I signed up, and I think the next week or a few days later, I went up and I killed. Wow, this is cool, man! I like it. I was getting like laughs before I finished the sentence. The crowds were so good there. So I went there and I started doing Sunday nights at the Punchline, because they had the open mic nights. And I was an open micer, but I'd go on whenever I could. 7 nights a week if I could. I was a junkie like young people today do. And I'm going on here. I got 4 sets later tonight, 5 sets tomorrow. Blah blah blah. I was just burying myself in it. Yeah.
So Robin would come down and like.
Yeah. I met Robin there at the hotel. I saw him before the boarding house in early '79 when Mork and Mindy was fairly new and his fame was like through the roof.
Mm-hmm.
And so him and Bill Kirkenbauer there the same weekend. They both had me busting a gut laughing both shows. And I just convinced me, yeah, I'm out of this for life, man. I want to do this. And Robin was just a real nice guy. We got to be friends and partied together and chased girls together and did this and that together and hung out. These are just one of the guys. He just had this Beatles type fame. He made it bigly, hugely, but he was cool.
Yeah, I never got to meet Robin, but a couple of years ago I had a car accident and I was in a coma for 30 days.
Yikes, ouch.
Yeah, and allegedly when I got up, my mom first told me that, I said that I was in, when I was under all the anesthesia, she said that I was in comedy heaven with Robin Williams and Lucille Ball, and we went on like a heavenly comedy tour or something. I don't remember that at all, but I don't doubt that it happened, you know?
Oh yeah, we've heard a little bit from the other side. So
Yeah.
There's a couple of little messages we got, and I think he's okay. I think his disease and the suicide and everything. My wife, who's in very spiritual, said it took him a while to cross over, but he finally made it. He's okay now. So it just continues. So that's what I believe anyway. What do I know? But he was great because when I moved back up here, I hadn't seen him in L.A. I saw him like once or twice the whole 22 years I was in L.A.
Mm-hmm.
And then once I moved back up here in 2009, I just ran into him all the time. We connected. He was great. We went to his wedding, and he invited us to stay in New York when he did his play, and we did that. And he got us into a private show he did with Paul McCartney in Las Vegas, and I just whoa, man, thanks. We were living the life. We were living his. He let us just enjoy his life. It was a lot of fun.
Amazing. And there was also guys like Doug Ferrari and Larry Brown and Kevin Pollak.
Sure, I met those. Larry came along in early '81. Doug was always here, so I think Doug was here before they built the city. So the high wire radio car was established in 1423, what would later become San Francisco.
And like
met all those guys. The people who were here before me were Doug Ferrari, Ray Hanna, Kevin Espel, who just passed away, really great guy. Gil Christner, Tony DePaul, Lorenzo, who just passed away, Jose Simone,
Jeremy Kramer,
and those people, Femprov, Denise Schultz, Joe Sharkey. There was a generation, David Schubert, Clarence Sterling. Those are people who were like, doing it when I first came here. I was learning how to hold a mic, and then the whole generation showed up around the time I did. It was me and Gonzo and Evan Davis and little angry Billy J, who's now a professional munchkin in Canada somewhere, and just Jeremy Kramer and Robin and so many people. We had an army, and around the same time, serious comedy was happening in Boston. It was happening all through Canada. It was happening in Houston with Kinison and Dan Barton and Bill Hicks and all those guys and Riley Barber. It was just happening all over in the main creative cities of the nation. Yeah. And it just happened. I don't know why. It was like, great music happened in the late 60s, early 70s. It just happened. It was a wave, and there was a comedy wave back then. So.
Yeah, it's so amazing. And when you got to LA, '87, you said, that's when all you got to see the craziness that was going on at the Comedy Store with the hookers and shit.
That place was possessed.
Yeah.
I caught the tail end of the good days, and I hear it's going through a nice little resurgence now. I'm very happy to hear that because it got real shitty for a while. And but when I get there, man, Sam was there every night, Dice was there every night. I think Roseanne was working every night. Pryor was there. Just so many great comics you never heard of, and and it was amazing. The energy of that place was incredible. I would go, even if I wasn't on, I'd go just about every night. I'd show up at 8 and I'd leave at 2 in the morning, and then the party started at Sam's house or the Crystal Mansion somewhere. It was great.
Well, my favorite.
Sam, come on, I tried to leave once and Sam blocked the door with party goalie, no one leaves. Okay. 2 days later, can I go home now, Sam? I haven't blinked since Tuesday, Sam. Can I go home and rest? That boy didn't like to be alone.
One of my favorite stories I ever heard about you was Mark Maron said that he asked you if you wanted to come up to the house to party with them, right? And you were like, I don't want to hear another story about how Sam invented paper and the printing press and gravity.
Yeah. Oh yeah, we get you know how the Coke get-togethers are. Especially Sam was like Napoleon. He had to be the boss. He was like the Trump.
Yeah.
Oh, I know at the time. And he always needed an enemy. He always needed the hateful body. So while he carried around over the plane, I want to stab our city when I see this. Fuck him. Why?
Wow.
I got to get somebody. The bar, I think the bar was slightly brain damaged.
Oh, yeah.
Funny as fuck, but boy, that bar was a train wreck, man. Waiting for a collision.
Yeah, oh my God, I think that the coke made him just this crazed guy based on all the stories I've heard,
Oh, the coke, the booze, the just being crazy to begin with. And I read the book his brother wrote, book by someone who wasn't at any of the parties. And he mentioned that Sam was a real quiet kid and real shy, and one day he chased the ball from the street and the truck beamed him in the corner of the head. And after that, it was, so he was never the same after the old Mack truck hit him.
Yeah, I listened to the Comedy Store podcast, and they talk about all the stories about Danny Stone and like the Todd and all those guys.
Oh God, Danny Stone, man! You ever see like a single-digit IQ? That boy was as dumb as a piece of weed, man.
Yeah, I heard all he did was go up on stage as Rodney, and that was it.
That's all. Hey, what if Rodney Dangerfield was a staple gun? Hey, look at me, I'm a staple gun. What if Rodney Dangerfield was a tree? Hey, I'm a tree. Look at me. That's all he did. And Rodney himself said, every time I light up a cigarette, it adds another minute to Danny Stone's life.
Shit. I've been to the Comedy Store 3 times, and the first time I went there, I'm like walking up the ramp of the parking lot, and I get the shudder down my back because I know that's where Steve Lubekin landed,
Oh, yeah. Splat Lubekin. There he is, and over there, there's some there, and yonder.
Yeah, and then I go into the OR to see the open mic, and I could have swore I felt the presence of Kinison, Pryor, and Robin in there. Like I felt it was very ghost-like in there,
Yeah, the place is haunted. It can get eerie. I've seen shit happen there. So my friend Harris Pete, he was like as tough as nails. This guy could be a Marine sergeant. As atheist as you can get, he used to close the place up, and he said he saw a chair throw itself across the room. So yeah, scary shit in there. But the energy. Anyway, when I was the first few years I was there, the energy of that place was incredible. And you didn't know what was going to happen. It could have been ugly, but something was going to happen that night. Could have been fun, could have been ugly. Kinison could smack someone or pull a gun on someone, or I saw him throw all the furniture out of the Cresto house once having a tantrum. That was crazy. I want that girl, Tamayo, come back. Oh, come on, help me with this couch. No, I'm not going to help you with the couch. I'm going home.
Oh yeah, I heard he was with Tamayo.
Sam, throw the lawn chair out the window. I think you can do that one yourself. Throw the light stuff. We'll work our way up to the couch.
Yeah, I heard.
Give me that ottoman. Where's the end table?
Yeah, I heard he was with Tamayo at Zuki for a while. Then.
Yeah, I said, hey, I think he kidnapped her one night. She was supposed to be going to a TV appearance, and he had her kidnapped. That's what she told me anyway. He was sick, man.
Oh my God. And were you also a regular at the Improv that much?
Later, when I first came to the store, it was like, you can do one or the other, you can't do both. I'm not a big butt Karen, but Mitzi was adamant about that.
Yeah.
And after, 3 years at the Comedy Store, I was having fun and going on, but my career wasn't really going anywhere, so I said, well, I'm going to go to the Improv. Maybe they'll put me on Evening at the Improv. And I went to the Improv, and they did put me on Evening at the Improv, and I did 4 of them. So luckily, I think after that, I was expecting to get banned from the Comedy Store, but nothing happened, and I still worked the Comedy Store. Mitzi gave me a little jab because on my birthday of that year that I started playing improv, 1990, she had a birthday cake for me on my birthday. Said, "Happy birthday, Steve, from Mitzi and Bud." And everyone went, ooh, and I went, so what? She has a sense of humor about it. So I started going to the improv, and I enjoyed. Well, the improv to me is like going to the office to a job you like, but the Comedy Store is like going to the fucking playground, man.
Yeah.
So anything goes there. They say improv comics have careers, and Comedy Store comics have stories.
Yeah.
I have stories.
Yeah, that's so true.
You go to the improv, like Bud wants you to wear a dickie and penny loafers. You go to the Comedy Store, you show up in a barrel and a roller skates. They don't give a shit. Just be funny.
And you did a set for Comedy's Dirtiest Dozen.
Yep.
Yeah, you were on with Tim Allen, Chris Rock, Bill Hicks, Stephanie Hodge, who I've had on the show, and
yeah.
Yeah, that was a really funny set, I have to say.
That was fun. Yeah, they flew a bunch of us into New York, and I don't know if you remember the Morton Downey show. The guy chain smoked cigarettes and would yell at people. They flew us to New York, and as soon as the plane landed, they drove us to Jersey, all sweaty and tired from the flight, to do the Morton Downey show, which was a lot of fun. Mort was cool, and then I think a couple days later we did the movie, and then we came back home. Actually, I stayed. My friend Joey Gaynor was in the movie, and I stayed in New York an extra week. Johnny Winter, my favorite musician friend, was doing some rehearsals and a show, and we just stayed in and hung out with him, so that was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
So we had a good time in New York. And then the movie was a very good movie, but it went nowhere because the stupid idiot cunt director billed it as, this is the movie so dirty you'll never see it on HBO or Showtime.
Oh.
And because of that, they never showed it on HBO or Showtime. They showed it on the Nudnik network at like 4 in the morning out of Poland. Idiot.
The Nudnik network.
I never met more fucking people with their head up their ass with power in Hollywood than I ever met anywhere else. It's insane.
Oh my God, that's like the kiss of death.
How can we sabotage this great project we made? I know.
So how did you come up with that look with the dinner jacket and the t-shirt?
I didn't want to wear a suit, and I like the jacket kind of makes you look dressed up, and I just like wearing cool t-shirts with cool stuff on them. I always like that. So, if it's if I have to, I say, well, we'll pay you this much and you wear a tie. I'll wear a tie, but it really hasn't happened in a billion years. So, I just like, it just happened. I just what I like, little dinner jacket, white dinner jacket, t-shirt with something cool on it, and a pair of slacks, $12 slacks I get at the old AAA station there, and, a pair of jogging shoes, and I'm ready to I'm off to the races.
Yeah, it always reminded me of like Huey Lewis, like it's a Bay Area thing,
Oh, don't compare me to Huey Lewis.
So did you ever get like a development deal or a cable special deal?
I didn't get shit. I had either no managers or crappy managers, and I actually did better when I had no manager. I booked all the TV stuff myself, even the improv and all that stuff. But no, nothing, that didn't happen for me. And I wasn't really that interested. I just wanted to go on stage and party and have fun when I was younger anyway. And I did that. And, I go on auditions. I didn't really get any dramatical roles. I didn't give a shit one way or the other. As long as I go on stage at the Comedy Store or the Improv and rock and roll, I was happy. So, and then I would work in Canada to pay the rent because they worked me. They had the Yuck Yucks had the whole scene in the country, and they were really nice enough to work me several times a year. So things were good.
Oh yeah, did you know Mike McDonald?
Sure.
Yeah.
I knew him well. He's a great guy. So many funny people up there that you've heard of and that you haven't. This and it's still a strong scene. My God, there's a lot of good people up there.
Yeah.
You got your Darren Frost, you got your Kenny Robinson, you got your Mark Kristen Walker, you got your, Minnie Holmes is in New York now, but you got your Martha Chavez, you got a lot of good people in Canada, in Toronto mostly.
Mm-hmm. Ron James.
Yeah.
God, what's his name? Stuart Francis. The one-liner guy, Stuart Francis.
Yeah, there's lots. There's so many good people. I don't know the younger ones, but I just know I started going there in '89, so I met a lot of people then. The late Kerry Talmadge was hysterical. There's so many people, man. They had a real healthy scene too throughout the whole country. Okay, you'll be playing Toronto here, and then you're going to Saskatchewan. Why? Because you have to. And then you're going to be in Uranium City, then you're going to be in Medicine Hat, then you work your way up to Vancouver, and you see some incredible scenery and have great times. And the weed is killer. So I always had a great time in Canada.
Yeah, that's good. So when shit got dark for you out in LA, what made you stay as long as you did?
I stayed till April of 2009, and I was sick of it for like 10, 12 years before that. Just things bottomed out. I was in my 50s. I didn't want to be there anymore. I wasn't getting too many gigs. I'm not in town anyway, except the free ones, and I can work for free anywhere. Hell, I can live in Spunky Puddle, Ohio.
Yeah.
And I didn't want to be there anymore. And then Glorioski, I reconnected with an old flame, young lady I was dating in the 80s named Nina, and I hadn't seen her in 22 years, and I lost track of her. But every couple of years, I look her up on the computer because I really liked her, and it'd be nice to reconnect with her again. And then one day I found her, and she got in touch with me and said, yeah, come on up, I'd love to see you. I'm single and I don't want any kids. I go, she's the one for me. So came up shortly after that, and she said, yeah, we just reconnected, and I drove back to LA, took all my stuff, and moved back they disappear in your rearview mirror for good.
Shit, that's a beautiful storybook fairy tale ending, I have to say.
A lovely sight. But I still like to go down there once in a great while, see friends and do a couple of sets, but no, I don't want to live there anymore. There's no reason to.
Of course, you went down there plenty of times when you had your podcast, Referendum. How did that show come about?
Oh, it was fun. Well, everybody was doing a podcast, and I was hanging out with Robin and Rick Overton one day and said, "You should do a podcast. You're cool." I said, "Okay, well, what do I do? I'll call it Riff-a-Llama." And he goes, "How about Referendum?" I go, "Hey, that's a good idea." And then Robin goes, "Let me do it. So I didn't even have to ask him. So, then I got a little portable tape recorder. I learned how to use it. I found a really smart computer guy named Waitman Gobble, that's his real name, to put the whole thing on the computer. I just started interviewing people, and everybody said yes, man. Robin, I didn't even have to ask. Let me do it. So 2 days later, with me and my friend Al Cleveland, who did some of the interviews with me, he went to Robin's house in Marin, and we were talking. And Johnny Winter said yes, and Tom Dreesen said yes, and Edgar Winter said yes, and Rich Scheidner. Everybody said yes. It was fucking great. So, that's when anybody asked me to do a podcast show, and I'm more than happy to do it because I just want to pass it on.
Yeah, I met Al at the Throckmorton a couple of years ago. Great guy. And was there anybody that you never got to interview though?
Yes, Joey Gaynor was very elusive, and I'll get you, SOB, I'll find you. No, everybody said yes. I wanted a friend of mine, my friend Franchi San Pedro, who I also interviewed on the podcast, he's a comedian, said he was going to try to get Michael Richards for me so we could talk about exactly what happened that night. He went into his KKK meltdown, but that never happened. But, I just stopped doing it because I'm up here and I ran out of people to talk to. So, and it's still up there. I just got tired. But if I go back to LA, I may bring it back and interview more people. I'd like to talk to Bruce Baum. I'd like to talk to Benny Thompson. I'd like to talk to more of the very funny ladies doing it that I haven't spoken to, and keep it going. So it's still up there. Let's just say it's on suspension now.
Okay, yeah, that's great because I listened to the interviews a lot. I like the ones with like Tom Dreesen and Argus Hamilton, and of course I love the one with Johnny Winter.
Oh, Johnny was great. We did that on his bus, and John, that was great. And I did Edgar's twice. I went to Edgar's house, and he called me the next day. "Hey, can we do that one again, man? I did this redneck impression, and some Southerners might get us in." Okay. So I went to his house the next day. We did the interview over again. It was funny. But no, everybody was great, and I really am absolutely grateful for that. And so when anyone wants me to do a show, I'm more than happy to do it.
Oh, that's great. Yeah, I also know you're a huge blues rock aficionado.
Love it. So it's the tree of life. Like, it's important to me is comedy.
Yeah, all the men on my dad's side, we're all blues guys. I mean, we love B.B. Albert and Freddie King and John Lee Hooker.
Oh, cool.
And Lil Walter, and then of course.
Oh yeah, Lil Walter's a badass, man.
And of course, all the British guys who came after them.
Sure.
Like Robin Trower, Eric Clapton, John Mayhall.
Sure. Yeah. Early Jimmy Page, there's lots of good guys there. Peter Green, Mick Taylor, my God. Mick Taylor, there's a kid who went from high school to John Mayall to the Rolling Stones. Ooh, look out. That'll mess you up.
Yeah, do you remember the first concert you went to?
Yes, it was August. It'll be the 50th anniversary on August 2nd. It was a Friday night, August 2nd, 1968. The opening band was a little band called Kangaroo. Yep. The middle band was a then kind of not that known in this country band from England called The Who. Oh. And the headliners were some guys from Los Angeles called The Doors. And then they had a riot. And that's when I go, I got to see at least one of these a month. This is fucking cool. I saw everybody. I was lucky. I grew up in the right time and I was too young to get drafted. So being born in 55 was a blessing. I saw Hendrix. I saw everybody. I went to the Phil Maurice. I went to Madison Square Garden. I pretty much saw everybody of the time. So all the cool dead people.
Oh yeah, my dad was born in '57. I mean, he went to Day of the Green. He went to Winterland.
Oh yeah.
All those places.
Oh yeah, they was just as important out here. Bill Graham was running both, San Francisco and New York, and that guy put the best shows on ever, man.
Yeah, the best.
It was total class with him. It was total class. The Phil Maurice, man, was just this perfect venue, and the shows were killer. The sound was killer. There wasn't a bad seat. You could smoke weed in the seats, and the ushers wouldn't bother you too much. It was great, man.
Yeah. My first concert, I went to see Steppenwolf at the San Mateo Fair in '98, and they did a pretty good show for a little outdoor show.
Oh, John Kay still kicks ass, man. know Steppenwolf. I almost saw them once in 1969. My friend Richard Cascardi and I had tickets to see Steppenwolf, and we show up at the venue, and they go, Steppenwolf's not here tonight. There's another concert at a venue like a mile away. So they had a little like World's Fair cart thing they drove us in, and we saw Spooky Tooth and Rhinoceros instead of Steppenwolf. So like, okay, we'll deal with that.
Yeah. When did you start opening for Johnny Winter, though?
Well, I didn't always open for him. We just hang out a lot, but I did open for him, you know, here and there, and especially on our last hang, which was really fun. But we got to be friends in '85, and I just opened a few shows. He just like, hey, you want to travel with us? We're going to Canada. Sure, I'll go on the bus. I had no gigs, fuck it. And we travel, and you want to go on? Sure, I'll go on. I go on, and they usually killed. And like Johnny even told me, you're about the only comic I work with that didn't leave the stage crying, man, because the audience usually hates the comedians that open for them. So that felt good. So I just hit them hard and hit them loud, and I had a Johnny Winter t-shirt on, and they had to like me at least a little.
Yeah, like when I listened to that interview you two did, I just noticed, you know, he had such a razor sharp Texas wit, you know.
Oh yeah, he was just, man, he had the best sense of humor. He told the best stories, you know, especially from his viewpoint. And you know, he's been doing it since like God. He's been playing since the '50s. He was a prodigy. He made his first record when he was 15, and Edgar was 12 when he was on it. So yeah, and the guy just never stopped from there. You know, then he got famous and just kept playing and playing and playing until the end. Boy died with his boots on. God bless him. Actually, he died in bed, but his boots were nearby. So.
Wow, it's amazing. Yeah.
What a life. God. So, and he made it to 70. That's incredible. So, you know, I've been so blessed. I was his friend, and he liked what I did, and that last hang was the absolute best because he had a day off after the 3 shows. I opened to him, kicked ass on both of them, and then he had a free day, so I drove him and his bass player, Scott, all through San Francisco. I gave him an 8-hour tour of San Francisco in my CRV, and we just had a great time, man. And then we came back, and we watched Casino, and then I kissed Johnny on the cheek, and I said goodbye. I'll see you on the next one because he's going to Japan later that morning, and that was it. So we had, we had closure. We had a good last hang.
Wow. Do you still talk to Edgar?
Yeah, hey, I haven't spoken to him in a while, but we talk occasionally. Edgar loves pictures of our cats. We sent him a couple of pictures. Send more pictures of the cats. They're beautiful cats. We want to see them. So, you know, he'd call us up, hey, how are the cats doing? One of the greatest musicians in the world. How are the cats? So we send him pictures of the cats whenever we can.
Is his health still good?
Oh, his health is incredible, man. He always took better care of himself. Johnny lived over the edge, man. He had to prove himself. You know, so I can do that. I'm tougher than anybody. Johnny had to play better, get higher, fuck more, fight better. He had to do it all, and he did by gums. And Edgar, you know, he kind of cleared the way for Edgar. And Edgar, you know, using the drugs like anyone else, but he took a lot better care of himself. So he's still here and still doing it. But
that's good, yeah. And what's his name who used to play with them? Dan Hartman. He died back in the '90s.
'94, yeah, but age sad. Yeah.
Yeah, he was like one of the most talented singer-songwriters that nobody even remembers anymore.
Incredible. I remember seeing the Edgar Winter group when he was in it. Rick Derringer was in it, and Chuck Ruff, who became a friend of mine later on drums. And Dan just played everything, man. He got the job with it. We sent him a tape of some of his songs that he played all the instruments and did all the vocals on. And Edgar, well, this guy's pretty good. That's what he heard.
Wow. Yeah, so the Doors and the Who were your first concert.
I was an over-the-top Doors fan, as I still am, and I was just, I saw them with Jim Morrison twice, actually, once again and again in 1970. But that was my first concert, the Doors and the Who, and Kangaroo.
Yeah, I remember you used to do that bit about Jim Morrison singing the Brady Bunch theme.
Yeah, I stopped doing it because I got too old to take the fall.
Take the fall.
I'm falling, I can't get up. Time to retire this bit.
I saw the Who 2 years ago in Oakland, and they did a really good show, even though it's just Pete and Roger, you know. But they did a really good show, and like between songs, like Roger and Pete would like banter back and forth and like insult each other and stuff. It was really fun.
That's cool. There's a good chemistry with those guys. Yeah, it's not the Who, it's the Two, but they're still good.
Yeah, and they're still deaf.
Yeah. Oh, Rick Overton had a great bit about Peter Townsend. He's like, Pete sitting backstage, man, I'll be right with you.
Yeah, what's his name? Jimmy Alec also had a really funny Who joke about them being deaf, but I can't for the life of me remember it right now.
Yeah, I think Townsend lost like 90% of his hearing or something. Oh, God. Johnny's hearing was good at the end. He said his hearing was perfect. I guess just it sucks for some people. I guess the Who had louder raps. I don't know.
Well, yeah, I mean, the Who, they're all into pyrotechnics and all that crap.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
You know.
Like the other day, I watched a clip of them in '75, I think, in Cleveland. It just sucks power. My God.
Yeah. Wow.
Those four mugs really they just rocked it, man. The Who were great. So, and I remember when I saw them, they still smashed their instruments.
Yeah.
They did a half hour, they smashed everything, then they cleaned it up, and then the Doors came out. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah, I never got to see that live, only on TV.
Yeah, the concert, actually, there's an audience recording of it on YouTube, the entire Doors show, and I think you can find the Who concert, too. And if you go to a site called Sugarmegs, SUGARMEGS, there are about 5 billion, zillion, quadrillion live audio concerts of everyone you can think of. It's in some off the board, some audience recordings. Just you just have to live to be 50 billion years old to hear like 1/10 of this stuff on there.
Wow.
Try the Sugar Meg side if you want to hear some music. You're like, ooh.
I'll check it out. Definitely. Do you have any shows you want to plug coming up?
Yes, this Saturday, I don't know when this is going to be broadcast, but this Saturday, July 21st, we're doing the big Robin Williams birthday bash at the Throckmorton Theater in Mill Valley. The legendary Throckmorton Theater, greatest people in the world run it.
Nice.
Who've seen the gang, and I'll be there with a whole bunch of good people, Larry Brown, Doug Ferrari, some other folks. And on Monday, I'll be at Vinny's in Concord. Vinny's by the Sea. And that's a fun little joint. And in August, it's the 16th, in the middle of August, sometime with the Punchline, the Dinosaurs of Comedy. So, and that's I'd like to say my calendar has more empty white squares than the audience at a John Tesh concert. But got some gigs coming up. But I got to tell you.
Oh, my God. So,
and you can hear the old referendum show at referendum.com, RIFFERNDUM.com. Interviews with Robin Williams, Johnny Rivera, Tom Dreesen, Edgar, lots of great people, August Hamilton, all kinds of good people, Gary Snow, Felicia Michaels, blah, 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 blah. And that's my plug. And I'll be feeding the cats in 10 minutes.
Yes, everyone out there, listen to Referendum. It's a great little podcast, and you hear a lot of insight about stand-up comedy on it.
A lot of fun conversations,
yeah.
Witty banter. Oops, wait a minute. Oh, my God, how did that happen? Sorry about that. That's Johnny singing. He's haunting us. That's the wrong button. Sorry, Johnny. Be quiet till we're done.
All right, Steve, it was such an honor. I thank you for your time tonight. And
thank you, Tommy. I appreciate it. Hope we get to work together soon or something. And, next time if they ever have me back in Reading without the torn feathers, maybe we can do a show together.
Yeah, fucking, I hope I get to meet you because I've come close twice, and the first time was almost at the Throckmorton. I think you were on the bill, but I think you had to back out that night or something. And then the second time, Paul Brumbaugh was going to introduce us, but then he had some drama or something, and it didn't happen.
Yeah, that drama queen, I'll get you. So that happens when you have 147 kids.
Yeah, because it was that comedy day. I think you, him, and Rick Overton were going to smoke or something, and then some drama broke out between Paul and somebody or whatever.
Oh, you ready? That's why I disappear. I don't need no drama. I don't need this, Mr. Betty. I'm going to take a powder.
Also, too, I wanted you to know Julie McAuliffe says hi, and she said that...
Oh, I love Julie. I absolutely adore Julie. God bless her.
Yes, she says you're her favorite comedian.
Oh, God bless her again. She's the best. I love the Funny Bunny. Hi, Julie. I love you. We got to work together, too. Get out here. Come play the Throckmorton.
Yep, absolutely. All right, Steve, you have yourself a great night, and I will be tagging you in this within the next half hour or so.
Thank you, Tommy. I greatly appreciate it. Send me the link, and let's do a part 2 soon.
Yes, part 2 soon.
Anytime, my friend. A pleasure talking to you.
All right, sir. Have a good night.
You too, my friend. We'll talk to you soon.
Talk to you soon.
Bye.
Bye. Well, there you have it, friends. Tommy Kovac. Ain't he a cool dude? I mean, what the fuck am I saying? Sorry, Steve's got me just fucking giggling. Well, there you have it. Steve Pearl. Ain't he a cool dude? Thank you so much, Steve. That was a lot of fun. You're a funny motherfucker, and that was great talking about comedy and blues rock and all that. If you like this video, everyone, please subscribe to my YouTube channel, add me as a friend on Facebook, join my Tommy Kovac comedian page on Facebook, follow me on Twitter and Instagram, and all that fun stuff. Well, that's all time we have this week on Splat from the Past. Until next time, this is Tommy Throwback Kovac saying, there's no shame in living in the past, because the present sucks. Later, dudes.